Hello and welcome. You are now looking at Canva.com. And Canva is designed for non-designers to create professional graphics on demand. It allows for custom graphs to be created with a template-based system. There's also a feature for photo editing as well as graphic editing. And since the graphics are made to be created on demand, you can both create the digital form as well as a print form in various sizes and dimensions. So the process in Canva involves working with the templates, customizing them for your specific situation, and then making them available via the output that you want. Now in this course, we're going to work with all of the basics of customizing the templates and then outputting them in different sizes and shapes. And whether you decide to work on your mobile or desktop, you'll be in position to know whether you want to work with the paid or upgrade version or whether you can use the free version. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to start the process of looking at some of the editing elements. And we can do that by going into any of the design creation templates. And in this case, we're going to look at a presentation template. And we're going to open that presentation template. Once we're inside of the canvas, what we can do is we're going to pick one of the templates. And we can pick any one of the templates that we're going to want to work with. Now, because we're inside of the presentation template, we're going to have several pages. And the presentation template allows you to work on one page at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to click one page, and that's going to bring one page onto our canvas. And what you'll notice at the top left is that you have a tab here that's called Elements. We're going to click inside of the Elements tab. And this tab will allow us to bring in certain elements that you'll see here on the left-hand side panel. We can bring in photos, and you'll notice that those will come up and we can add those to our canvas. We can also add in graphics. These are also things that we can add in to our canvas. Now you're going to notice that certain elements will say free, and other elements that you'll see will have a price tag on them. If you click the element that has a price tag, you'll be able to use it. However, you'll have that element watermarked. There's a link to the bottom right where you'll be able to remove the watermark, and then you'll be able to purchase that element by clicking on this button, and you'll be able to use the credit card that you have on file. And one thing that you'll note, if you go back to the original template and you go back to the list of templates, you'll notice that the templates do not have price tags, and that's because the template system comes with your use of the Canva platform. And you'll notice that each of the elements on the canvas, if we click on top of those elements, we can move those elements and then alter them. So for example, we can rotate this element. We can size this element. And we delete the element by clicking on top of the element. You'll see the handles, and then we're going to click the delete button that will remove the piece from your canvas. If you want to bring back the piece to your canvas, all you'll need to do is to click this undo button, and you'll see the element come back to your canvas. You can click the undo button again. You can bring it back to the right size and reposition it. The reason that's important is if we want to take this element, click on top of it, delete it, what we'll need to do then is we'll need to go to the element that we want in its place. We'll click on top of that element. That'll bring it to this part of the canvas. All we'll need to do then is size that element down to where we want it to be, move it into position. And we'll be able to bring in any element that we want, replace any element that we want, or use any element that we want from the Elements tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now before we move on to the text element, one thing that you'll note is that every time that you highlight one of the elements that you place down and you click on top of that element, you're going to see that there's going to be a menu here at the top. All of those things pertain to this particular element that you placed. For example, if we place the cursor on top of the background, what you'll notice is that the elements change and the menu changes. If we place our cursor on top of this element, then we have a menu. And all of these are things that you can do to this particular element. So for example, if we wanted to filter this element and we wanted to make it more grayscale to match the element that's already there, we could do that. We can also use the adjustment menu to adjust the color. We can use the crop menu to crop certain elements of the element. We can use the flip element so that it appears in a different format, and you'll see that the elements are reversed. We can copy the element where we have a second one. You can then delete that element, and then we can position the element. We can position it forward or backward or to the back, at the top, and then we can undo that to put it back where it was. We can also make it a transparency. And so for example, what we can do is we can make it so that it is more opaque. And we can also place a link inside of the element by clicking this element, placing the URL that we want to be there. And now we can move on to the text element. What we can do is we can add in text to our background. So for example, we can add in a heading by clicking this element, and you'll see that there's a heading there. We can add in certain text elements, and you'll see the text element appear. We can then position that text element where we want it. Of course, just as we had with the elements menu, when we click inside of this element, we have a menu that we can change. You can change in the font, size of the font, the color of the font, and even the orientation of the font. We can link to certain elements in this area. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. And the next menu element down is the background. When we click on top of the background, you'll notice that we can change the background of our existing canvas. You'll also notice that even the canvas that's already there, we can then go to this very top menu and we can change the background color even before we add in a background element. What we can do is we can go to the background, and you'll see that there are going to be free and paid backgrounds available. You can then click inside of the background element that you want, and you'll see that element in the background. And then we can change the color of that background to what we want it to be. Now you're going to see a menu for this background, and what we can do then is we can then change the transparency of the background, and what you'll see is that those elements, we can make them more opaque. You can also adjust these elements here in this menu. And so basically what we're changing are the elements that are already on top of the background template that we have placed. And we can try multiple backgrounds until we have the one that we want to use. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we can also upload our own content to the canvas. So for example, if we were to take one element and then we were to delete that element and then we wanted to add one in its place, we can go to the uploads area. And basically what we can do then is we can drag in an image to this area, or we can just click this button to grab the image from our hard drive. And you'll see the element available here in this area. We can actually grab as many images as we'd like to have here in this area. And you'll then see that Canva is uploading the elements to this area, and once you have them all here, they are then available for your canvas. And then you can use this element as you would any other. So for example, if we want to place this element inside of our canvas, all we're going to do is to click on top of that element. We're then going to have that element here available to us. And basically then we can then start by sizing down the element and making it available where we want. And of course then we have this menu available to us in order to make changes to the element. And you'll see that we are able to change the nature of the element by clicking on top of any of the elements that we have here. And so basically what we can do is we can customize with the images that we want inside of the content that we're creating. In this case, as we have this element selected, what we can do then is we can link inside of this element just as we can any other element. We can also rotate this element. And so basically we have available to us the ability to customize our content with our own images or pre-made images that we have already created. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, what we can do is we can delete the content that we've added, and then Canva gives us access to other forms of content. To find it, we're going to go to this area, and we can add in any of these 7 elements from third parties. So for example, we can add in an embed. So if we have in the embed code from any of these services, we can embed something into this area. We can add in a TED Talk. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add in the TED Talk link here in this area. And we'll then click Add to Design. And you'll see then that our TED Talk is then added. And you'll see all of the elements, everything from SoundCloud to Twitter and then Facebook. And you'll see here that we have links where we can add in our emojis, we can add in specific Facebook photos, we can add in specific Instagram photos, or even photos from our Dropbox. We can add in YouTube videos as well as sites from Jiffy. And so what you have here is you have an extra element that you can use in order to add in content in order to customize your design. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.